MCAT questions under minute parts 13 and 14. Let's go. If CO2 levels in the blood increase, what happens to blood pH? This type of question is a bicarbonate buffer question. It's a bonus if you know about the enzyme carbonic anhydrase. So when CO2 increases, according to Le Chatelier's principle, which is something you have to know for the MCAT, the system will shift to the right, creating more hydrogen ions, which are the indicators for pH. So when H plus ions increase, what does that do to the pH? The pH decreases. So when the pH drops, that means that the solution, in this case the blood, is becoming more acidic. So going back to the question, the answer is B. Now let's move on to the second part of this video where I talk about metabolic and respiratory acidosis and alkalosis. The distinction between the two is pretty simple. Respiratory alkalosis or acidosis refers to changes in CO2 levels that lead to changes in pH. On the other hand, metabolic alkalosis or acidosis refers to changes in the bicarbonate ion that leads to changes in pH. This is easy to memorize because CO2 levels are controlled by the respiratory system or the lungs when you expirate. Bicarbonate levels are controlled metabolically through the kidneys. Okay, so let's answer a question. A researcher measures the pH of a patient's arterial blood and finds it to be 7.25. Further testing shows elevated CO2 levels while bicarbonate levels are normal. Which of the following is the most likely primary disturbance? Okay, so the key phrases here are elevated CO2 levels and bicarbonate levels are normal. Because we know bicarbonate levels are normal, we can cancel out all the metabolic answer choices. So, using what we know about the bicarbonate buffer system, we know that an increase in CO2 levels will lead to an increase in H plus ions. As a result, an increase in H plus ions will lead to a decrease in pH. A decrease in pH is an example of acidosis, so the answer is C, respiratory acidosis.